nostalgic.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wax Nostalgic, a podcast where we turn the clock back on the good old days. I'm your co-host, Graham Johnstone.
I'm Sam Bagnall.
And I'm Ryan Kerwin.
Yeah, welcome back, and today we're going to talk about some fun stuff that we remember from when we were kids.
No way.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole shtick here, so...
Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, buckle in! But first, I guess, how are you guys doing? I don't feel like we've checked in on each other enough in this podcast.
That's
you guys
true.
have a good week, having fun?
Pretty good.
It's
yeah.
Tuesday, so it's better than Monday.
Yes, by one.
That's
So
true.
in that regard, I guess I'm doing pretty well.
I mean, I'll keep harping on the weather. It got hot again. I thought we were through with that. It was raining and it was nice and cool, and now it's like 98 again outside.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a scorcher. It's
Can't wait to see
swinging
your
back.
glasses fog up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice and cool in here right now, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
This is the gauge,
That is true, yeah.
the humidity
Although
gauge.
Graham did find some leaks in the window previously.
I'm trying to make this place a lot more hospitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, so good. We're
Yeah.
making strides.
Yeah. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing good, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, can't complain too much, Just plugging away, doing my
Excellent.
thing. Happy to be here with you boys.
Still upright.
Yep, above ground.
That's right.
Yeah.
On the right side of the dirt, yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, today we're going to start by talking about music, specifically some of the first music that we remember being ours. Something that your first CD, your first cassette tape in some cases, that was like music that was yours, not your parents, not your brothers,
Yeah.
yours. So, anyone interested in getting us started?
I'll go first.
Great.
Whoa, so brave.
That was enthusiastic.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like I usually make other people go first.
Me.
Yeah, no, I'll go first because I specifically remember like the first CD that was my CD, and it was we were living in the UK, and there was this music store downtown called Andy's Records, I think it was called.
Okay.
And I don't remember why we were there, but I was there with my mom. She was probably just looking for some CDs for her, and I saw this one on the table, and it was a Disney hits compilation CD.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it wasn't just like the songs from the movies; it was like covers as well.
Oh.
And yeah, so like it had the one that comes to my mind first is what I'm going to say last because that segues into my follow up. But it had like I think there was like Backstreet Boys or something like that. Maybe not.
So Backstreet Boys covered a Disney song
like
or something?
a song from Hercules.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And what other covers were there? I mean, there was also like one of the ones that was my favorite was like a remix of the song from the Jungle Book where like Baloo is like pretending he's an ape and trying to infiltrate the monkey party thing. Do you remember that?
I loved that
Yeah.
song, but now
Yeah.
that you're mentioning it, I'm like, what was it? Like, I
Yeah.
can't remember the words for it.
Right. So like
Yeah.
King Louie is the one singing the song. Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh the jungle VIP, etc. That kind of thing. And they have like some scat at the end, like a rap-a-doo-doo, kind of stuff. Yeah, and I loved that stuff. But yeah, so it's just all these different songs that were either like straight from the movie or a cover or a remix like that. But the ones that really got my attention there were I think 2 on there that were by Louis Armstrong.
Oh, hey,
right.
our most talked about person on this podcast for
Right,
some
yes.
reason.
No, exactly. It's come up a lot. And yeah, like I didn't really know jazz at that point. Like my parents liked jazz, but it wasn't like a thing that they played a bunch. And these were kind of jazz covers. There was When You Wish Upon a Star, but kind of, like jazzed up a little bit.
So, and my question is, were these recorded like in the 60s or something?
It was, a long time
old?
ago.
Like,
yeah.
Or was he like 95? Like,
Wish upon a star.
I mean, he sounded like he was 95 for the time he was like 30.
That's
but,
fair. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
died back in the 80s or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, these would have been recorded.
So
60s,
this
70s.
wasn't just like modern pop covers.
Right,
It was
yeah.
a whole range
Right,
of...
somebody
Oh, cool,
curated
okay.
this collection of
Nice.
of songs from Disney movies, and covers and
Okay.
remixes.
Sure.
But Bippity Boppity Boo, that was another one that he did on there, which was amazing. Exactly, it sounded just like that, yeah. Well, and chickaboola means, yeah, etc. But yeah, no, so then like that kind of led me down another rabbit hole, because then I started getting Louis Armstrong CDs. So like, he was my guy for a long time.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, as we discussed previously, I played trombone when I first started learning an instrument instead of trumpet.
Right.
But that was just because my brother had already started picking up trumpet, and I can't do the same thing. You know? Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. But that's the first one I remember getting for myself. I think, maybe that was kind of short. So the one one of the first ones I remember receiving was I can't remember if my dad was like traveling somewhere, or if he also just happened to be in a music store and was like, "What are the kids listening to these days?"
Yeah.
So one of my other early CDs was a Vengaboys CD.
Not actually familiar.
What is that? Is that? Please
describe. The Venga bus is coming. And
oh my God.
Okay, yeah. How can I not? Yes.
Your face. For those listening on audio, Ryan's waiting for us to like recognize what that was. His face just had this like shit-eating grin on it.
I knew as soon as I said that you were going to recognize it, because over here it's like so iconic for the Six Flags, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
The guy with the glasses, and he's like this. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So they had like more songs than just that one. I can only remember one other one off the top of my head. It's called "We're Going to Ibiza." Whoa, we're going to Ibiza.
Oh, man.
Whoa. Yeah, so
that's funny.
Yeah, so some kind of...
Wow.
What are the kids
European.
into these days? The Vengaboys.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. I love it.
I probably still have that somewhere.
It's fun.
Yeah, but those are the ones that I remember as the early things that were just mine,
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go next.
Sure, cool.
So this will be kind of scattershotted because there's a couple of them and I don't exactly remember which one is first. But I think the first, kind of in the vein of receiving something, I got it was my dad's like cassette tape, but it was Foreigner.
Oh, nice.
And it was like hot bloody chicken sea. Like, and I fucking loved that song. I was like, dude, this is so good.
Do you know? So sorry to interrupt, but one time I was watching Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Okay.
And they had to say a thing about lizards, and they changed the song to Cold Blooded.
Oh my gosh, that's cheap.
I'll find it.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill. Come on, man.
Those lizards.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, so that was like definitely was my dad's like cassette that he had, but I just kind of like took it and used it, and I'm pretty sure that I never gave it back to him, and at some point it either got lost or broken, and he was like upset about that because it was, a cassette that he owned or whatever. But I
personal property or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of just like adopted it as mine.
I would say possession is 4/5 of the law.
Yeah, 9/10 of the law. Yeah, sorry, Dad. But that's one that I specifically remember being like, this is mine, even though it wasn't. And then I would say, as far as I remember, Steve Miller Band was my first CD that I was like, this is mine. And there was a couple at the same time. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember Hip Clips?
No.
They were like these little toy. They looked like a boombox, and they had these tiny little square cartridges that would play like.
Of them, but I don't know if I knew them when I was a kid.
Yeah, they would play like 30 seconds of a song.
Yeah.
Or
Was it
something.
like a digital cassette, like a digital cartridge?
Yeah, like just a tiny. I mean, it was.
I think
the
I know what
size
you're
of
talking about.
Like a stamp, and you like put it in there.
Yeah.
And it only played like 30 seconds of a song, but. I got one. I think my brother had one of those Hip Clips, and one of the like CDs that came with it was Faith Hill.
Oh.
It was This Kiss by Faith Hill.
Oh man.
This kiss, unstoppable. Yeah. And I was like, this song is so good, and so
what's his kiss?
I bought that CD, and
nice.
I remember in like
you bought the entire album.
Oh yeah,
nice.
And in like third grade we had show and tell.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh yeah, this is my favorite things or whatever, and I brought in that CD, and everybody made so much fun of me because I'm like this like third grade boy who just, I think we maybe talked about it in the last episode, but I like went to private school and then moved over to public school, and so I was like already kind of a nerd because I showed up wearing like dress code, like uniform, khakis, all that stuff. I tattled on a kid for swearing in the first couple of days. And then I bring in this like Faith Hill CD and everyone's like, who is this fucking kid? Like,
keep them guessing.
So that's
So wait, let me just ask you kind of a follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would have bullied you as you today, seeing you then bringing Faith Hill into class?
No, I don't.
I think I might have.
You probably would have.
He's more tolerant than you.
Yeah, I mean, I listen like a lot of the music I listen to like is things that I feel like people are like, a 31-year-old dude is jamming like Justin Bieber's first record like at work, and I'm sitting there just like jamming, or I love Britney Spears, like all that stuff. So
you know what's even funnier to me is like that you were in a heavy metal band. So I think that like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it's funny like the paradox of that.
The
juxtaposition.
I do love heavy music. I love like all of that stuff, but I do have a soft spot in my heart for like girl pop. Like,
it's fun stuff.
Totally freaking. I'll just have days when I'm at work where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Adele and Bridget Mendler and like whatever, just all of these like.
Oh yeah, no, I like
Carly Rae Jepsen.
The Spice Girls when they were current, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So that was I would say Steve Miller Band was actually the first CD that I like got and liked, but that Faith Hill record, I would like went out of my way to buy it because of that Hip Clips toy. Yeah, which good for them. It worked. You know, right. It was like a marketing thing.
They got you hooked.
Yeah, but I still probably have that album somewhere.
Excellent.
That and Martina McBride.
Okay, nice.
I don't know who that is.
It's like a country.
Yeah, I know the name.
Oh, I do know the name. I probably would know a song if I heard it. One of those kind of things.
Why don't you sing a little bit?
I can't remember any Martina McBride songs. But
this is our most musical episode.
Kind of,
we all have very good voices.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the same era as like
Crossfire.
Shania Twain.
Oh yeah.
Crossfire.
No, we're caught in the crossfire now.
Oh man, but yeah, it was like kind of the same era as like Shania Twain, and like my dad really liked Heart. If you guys remember Heart.
Heart is awesome.
And so like there was I mean, I took a lot of musical influence from my dad, but and then Faith Hill. My dad was not a Faith Hill fan that I know of. I don't know that he disliked her.
That's right. Maybe he just listened to your CD after you went to bed.
Yeah, he would come into my room.
You should be ashamed of listeing to this.
I'm taking this away. You're grounded.
It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, he's got his Walkman headphones on.
He's just like a single tear.
This kiss.
He like looks around, closes the door, locks it. Gets a box of tissues.
Yeah.
God.
For his tears.
Tears.
Are those happy tissues or sad tissues?
Both. Tears can come from being happy.
That is true, yeah.
So that's my story.
Nice.
Any questions?
Cool. Any follow-up questions? No, I do have a follow-up question for the group after we finish doing our individuals.
Yeah, cool.
So Faith Hill is like country?
Like country pop.
Pop, okay. I thought so.
Definitely in the vein of country, though.
So do you still, are you a country fan today, or?
Not particularly. Okay. For a long time, I was like, I don't like country. But really, like, a lot of it, like, I love bluegrass. Yeah. Like, bluegrass is really fun, and taking a lot of those, like, you know, that kind of twangy, like, sound, and so a lot of like current country I can dig. Like it's not something that I'm like listening to Blake Shelton on my drive over here or anything, but I can dig
very
it.
Specific
it's fun.
Thing that you're not doing. No?
Yeah.
My mom used to listen to Garth Brooks' album.
Okay.
Like I don't remember the name of the album, but it had I don't remember the name of the songs. I don't know. It was in the 90s, but so. And, you know, he's, like, kind of twangy country. Yeah. And it's funny because I don't like country necessarily, but I like him and I like those old songs because it reminds me. It takes me back. Yeah.
Well, there definitely is sort of like, I mean, as with all genres, I guess, there's like eras of country music, right?
Sure.
Like, you know, Willie Nelson and that kind of stuff is a different kind of country music than like Luke Bryant.
Totally. I think it's,
And I think the problem I have with modern country is it's kind of all formulaic at this, like more formulaic sounds. A lot of the songs are kind of the same themes and sound the same and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
a lot of pop music, you could say the same thing about that.
I mean, really, I think it's kind of like, and you can correct me if you know more about this, but I feel like it's more of like country pop. is it almost its own whole entire genre.
Sure.
And it's really taken over most of country. I feel like there's not that much like what used to be country. I feel like has changed so much, and a lot of that is because of our homegirl Taylor Swift.
That's true.
That's true.
Because she was like country, and then now she's just like pop star.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of
Pop
it. I mean,
icon?
Post Malone just released a pop
diva.
Yeah.
Yeah, Post Malone just released a country album last week.
Beyonce released one like last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I found that not very surprising.
Yeah.
Like wow, Beyonce's into country now, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think my favorite thing about modern country songs, not knowing much about them, but I have a few friends who listen to country music, so I'll hear it, passively. It seems like they really lean into puns. In like the titles,
kind of your whole
which is
thing.
that's my if puns didn't exist, I would suffocate. Like I breathe puns.
It's your main oxygen source.
Yeah. So like there's one title that really stood out to me. I can't sing the song because all I remember is the title, but it was drinking cab solo in the drinking cab from a solo cup solo in the cab of my truck.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty clever. I'm not going to lie. That's
right.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even need to write that song. Just like how the Onion would do like, just headlines that don't actually have a story with them.
Yeah.
I feel like country music albums should just have a few that are just titles.
Just the title, and then it just like plays for 1 second of sound and then just skips to the next one.
Right. Maybe just the sound of pouring Cabernet Sauvignon into a solo cup in the cab of a truck. Yeah. There we go.
I can smell this song right now.
Whiffs of diesel. Yeah.
What is that? Diesel and BPAs.
Oh man.
Good stuff.
Yep. Do you want to do your part next?
Sure. I'll go. This is Graham.
Hi, Graham.
Hello. Hello. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
At your studio.
In my studio.
Your house.
So basically, I think I'm going to talk about like two different things.
Okay.
So first of all, kind of like you, I had my younger preteen kind of phase of music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I don't know. It was kind of more, I just want to say like innocent kind of music. Like for instance, the one I'm going to talk about is I remember when I loved The Lion King and like I was obsessed with Lion King when it came out. And I think I saw it in the theater like 3 times or something, right?
Hell yeah.
And so I talked my parents into buying me the Lion King soundtrack.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
do you want to sing a little bit for us?
Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
Yeah.
I know so many guys. Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
What a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna
Matata. No worries for the rest of your days.
Yeah, sing it, kid.
It's my problem.
Philosophy.
Anyway, carry on.
No, I mean, it's very singable, sing-alongable.
Oh, classic,
catchy.
yeah.
All the songs are good. Elton John and
naturally
you've got like the more serious ones, the songs, and the more fun ones. So anyway, I remember I probably played. Luckily, it was a CD because if it was a tape, I probably would have worn the tape out. Yeah. So, I think it was probably my first CD ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and this was, I don't know, 1994 or something. So it was kind of like younger in the CD days where everything was kind of like, there were still tapes and CD. But I remember at some point I had a boombox at a CD player.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
So I used to just play it all the time and I loved it. Then I got a little bit older and I was in middle school. And I started hanging out with some kids, like friends and kids in school and stuff. And we, that stuff was kid stuff, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So we started
some
Disney's
Green
for
Day.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started listening to we started listening to like hard rock and alternative, heavy metal, like more like kind of like some grunge, was popular back then. So basically, I used to walk home from middle school every day, and there was a little shopping center like halfway through.
Yeah.
So almost every day we'd stop at this used record store.
Oh, nice.
It's called Music Go Round or Disco Round.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Music Go Round's like a used instrument store.
Yep. It was Disco Round, and as a teenage kid who loved music, it was like you know,
Mecca.
my Mecca. You walked in there and they had all the stations with the CD players with the headphones.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
And it was
those.
it was mostly used CDs and tapes and stuff. And so, you know, we're browsing and I'm like, I want to listen to this. And you go up to the guy and you get to go to the station and you're playing. You're like, this is awesome. And you got to listen to all the music that your parents didn't want you to listen to. Which was even better.
Right. I'm not allowed to buy this, but I'm going to listen to the whole record sitting right here in the record store.
Yep.
So my parents were, well, my mom anyway was very much, you know, I have to listen to what you're going to buy. So I couldn't just go buy all the stuff my friends were buying. Like it was like, had to listen to it, make sure there was no cuss words, like that kind of thing. Very like protective in that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the first CD, I'm pretty sure the first CD I ever bought when I was older was Third Eye Blind. It was the single.
Just a single.
I think it was a single because singles were like $4 or they were really cheap. And you know, I don't think my mom back then, like for a full album, I think it was like $20 or it was like pretty expensive.
Right? Yeah.
So that was the only thing I was able to really talk her into like buying for me.
Yeah.
But it was like the
Right. Semi-charm kind of
little
life.
does she semi-charm kind of life. Little does she know they talk about doing meth.
Right.
It's
quite an explicit
so I kind of felt like I was getting away with something.
Yeah.
She'll never know.
Oh man, and look how you turned out.
That's right. You do minimal meth.
Yeah,
and then
almost none.
Yeah.
The album that made me as a person pretty much, that shaped like, and maybe that's an overstatement, but
no, stick to your guns.
Is Foo Fighters' Color in the Shape.
Okay.
And also I bought the Chemical Brothers.
Nice.
Block Rock and Beats.
Okay.
Awesome.
And those two, there wasn't a time, and during that time of my life, there was not a moment when I wasn't in school or doing something else I didn't have headphones on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I just put that shit on repeat.
Nice.
Did you have the headphones that like went behind your ears, so they had the little arc? So
No,
it would go up,
I don't think I had those, but those are cool when they came out.
It's like a little sleeker.
Yeah,
Right.
I had
like
ones that went over the
Right.
top, you know.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I used to like, I remember we were on vacation one time and I was playing my music, and I would just turn that shit up to 11.
Crank it.
Everyone's listening to
my
your
mom's
music,
like in the bed over here, like, turn that music down, I can't sleep.
Just coming from your headphones.
Right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's that tinny sound that just affects the whole.
Nowadays your phone is like, your volume on your phone has been too loud for too long, turn it down or you'll sustain ear damage. And you're like 11 years old, like
Wait, does your phone actually do that?
yeah, mine does at least.
Wow.
My phone, if I like, you know, I'll go on a walk or whatever, and I'll like pop in my music or my podcast or whatever, and turn it up. And by the end of the walk, my phone is like, you've had too high of decibels for too long. Like suggested to turn it down.
Nanny state.
Yeah.
Nanny state. Yeah. So So, and then at the same time, there was a local TV station, the local PBS station would play music videos every night after 11.
Pre-MTV.
Yeah, it was like Channel 12, and it was called Music Link. There was one Music Link, and there's another one called Teletoons.
Okay.
So I used to just stay up just until like 2 a.m. or something, watching like music videos and stuff. So
nice.
Anyway, at some point, I started really getting into music, and like that. Those are the genres I really liked. Was like that late '90s techno and like alternative.
Yeah.
And then also like, I'll stop talking pretty soon, but but no, I was just thinking like one of my other buddies had a guitar, and he was really into Metallica. And so we would listen to Metallica all the time. Anyway, so there was like the kind of the more heavy metal, like hard rock side.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
heck yeah. I didn't get to say what my favorite Disney cover or Disney song was.
Oh,
but,
no, you didn't.
I just didn't even think to bring it up. But since you, Ryan, talked about it, and then you, Graham, talked about it, Tarzan. I want to know,
Phil Collins,
can you show me?
Yeah,
that was like, that's still a song that I can just like, if it comes on, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to jam this, crank it up. And I want to do a cover of it. I think that'd be really fun.
I have a theory. It's not a very strong theory. It's based on like 3 data points right now. But I think people who are like 2 to 3 years younger than me, like Tarzan was their jam. I think for me, like I watched it when it was in theaters, but like I was like, that was fine. I wonder if it was just like that minor age difference, because I was hanging out with a friend who I think is just like 2 years younger than me, and some of his friends were over and they were like, hey, we're just hanging out, let's just put Tarzan on in the background, and we got like super psyched, and I'm like, I don't know if I would ever have that, response for Tarzan,
funny. I think I would. I think if somebody's like, let's turn on Tarzan, I'd be like, yeah.
See, I think for me, like something like that would be like Mulan maybe, or like, one of those ones. Yeah, I don't know.
So is this the animated? Is this an animated or a live action?
The animated one.
Okay. Yeah. It must have come out, like 99?
Yeah,
something like that. It was a little bit after. I think I was a little bit too old at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was like late high school.
Yeah.
And so I had kind of stopped watching Disney movies.
Although I feel like maybe this is just talking about myself, but I feel like there's kind of there's like a dip where you're like, I'm too old to do these things, and then when you get a little bit older, like I saw Moana when I was like 27 or whatever, and I love Moana. I don't even have any reason to watch it besides I thought it would be fun.
Dude, Moana is awesome.
Yeah.
That movie is great.
I've just now begun like watching not old, but like recent Disney movies, and also ones that I hadn't seen that. And it's funny because I'm like, oh yeah, these are really good movies. I've been missing out this whole time.
For a reason that they're insanely high production, budgets and abilities and all that. So there's a lot of cool stuff. But music, can't go wrong with like that era. And I'm sure there are like Frozen and stuff has a lot of popular songs for kids like now.
Right.
But like they've nailed it. They've figured that algorithm out for like pumping out good catchy music that you'll remember until you're like on your deathbed. You're
Aladdin.
Like, oh my god, dude. Yeah.
Lots of good ones. Okay, the follow-up question I was going to ask.
Yes.
This is kind of on the theme of kids these days don't know how good they've got it, but I remember very distinctly as a kid there were just like 3 or 4 CDs that just like lived in the car, and we kind of went through phases of like which CDs were in the car, but like those are just the CDs that you hear every day, going to and from school, that kind of thing. I feel like nowadays, I mean, obviously the radio was around then, but like nowadays people just like boot up Spotify, that kind of stuff. Did you guys have that same experience of just like maybe it wasn't a CD that was yours, but it was just like one that your parents liked enough that it was, like for me, one that comes in my head is the Space Jam soundtrack, and I think that was just like family friendly enough, and my parents liked it enough. Right, exactly. So like that one was in our car. That one was in our car for like over a year. So like any song on that album, I could probably sing along.
It's Beach Boys.
Yeah, it's a good one.
There's a tape. We had a Beach Boy tape, and I probably played. I mean, my theory is because one day I got lost. Oh, we can't find this tape anymore.
Oh, no.
I'm serious. My mom got so sick of me playing that all the time.
Yeah.
She probably just was like, bloop, like somewhere like on the road, just drove off.
Oh, I fell out of the car under the tires.
I think you don't need to call it a theory. I think you can call it a fact.
Yeah. Said with confidence.
Right, exactly. My mother hated that, and it went off the road,
I feel like I had that experience, although I can't remember any specifics. My dad is super into music, and he's always like, he has a big record collection and stuff. And
so he was probably trading them out pretty frequently.
He had like a book of CDs that he carried with him.
Yeah.
And then eventually it turned into like one of those cassette tapes that has the cable that plugs into iPod or a Discman or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it would be like, I feel like he always had like a book. Like it wasn't like 3 or 4. It was like 40 CDs that he was playing a lot.
Did you ever have like a family car with like a CD shuffler in it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but
we never did because I always wanted one, but we never had one.
Okay, we had you could just like put 4 or 6, I don't remember how many, but then like they'd just be in the car, and I think in ours it was like in the like trunk of the car essentially.
It was always somewhere so inconvenient.
Right.
We're like, I'm not getting out of the car.
Got to get into the wheel well real quick to change a couple of CDs. It's underneath the gas tank.
right, exactly. Just don't light a cigarette while you're doing it. Yeah. But I just thought it was a very specific snapshot of time of
I remember them. I don't recall us ever having it. I think I think my dad really held on to the like auxiliary cord cassette tape.
Sure.
Like that was, I feel like, something that I mean, my band had one of those in our van in like 2012.
Yeah.
Like, because it was an old vehicle, and we were just like, well, this is how we do it here. It's like cassette tape and the little deck and the little cable coming out. So,
which is pretty cool technology in itself. But
for sure.
Cool. All right, that's all I had to say.
Cool. I think that's enough for part 1 of this podcast.
Part 1 is done.
We're going to take a little break. And
part 1 of 2.
Part 1 of 2, yes. We won't break it up any further than that.
Part 2 for you.
So, without further ado, we'll get off to our not sponsors.
See you later. Soon. Pretty soon. Like a minute. Bye. Hey, guy. I've been really wanting to bang my head recently, but I can't find any good metal music.
Oh, you're telling me. I keep looking for metal, but all I find is classical. Beethoven, more like boo.
Hoven.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Totally.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Sam, and I'm in a band called New Fiction. Are you looking to bang your heads? Well, I've got the music for you. You can check us out on Spotify and Apple Music, or anywhere else that you would listen to music, even on YouTube. Thanks, New Fiction Music.
Thanks, New Fiction Music.
All right, everybody, welcome back to part 2 of this episode of Wax Nostalgic. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about field day, outdoor activity days from school. So, anyone want to start it off? I can start it off.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I have 2. One is really short, but one is a little bit better, so I'll start there. In 8th grade in middle school, it was, I guess, my last year of middle school, and at my middle school, they did a thing for, like, the field day situation, where there was, like, field day every year, but for 8th graders, they did, like, kind of an Olympics type of thing, where it was students versus teachers in like sports, different sport events. So they had like
what year or how old were you?
It was 8th grade. So,
okay,
13ish.
12, 13, something like that.
So the teachers had an advantage, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
But they did like, there was basketball, volleyball. I think there was like scooter hockey. So those like little scooter things that you like sat down on and wheeled your butt around.
You know what's
on.
funny is the only reason I remember that is because I think somebody was talking about that last time or one time, and I was like, holy shit, dude, that was a memory that was locked away way back there.
Scooter hockey?
Yeah, it was. So it was these flat things, and they had 4 wheels on them, and you scooted around and you'd
sit on
Is
it.
it like a furniture dolly, or
kind of.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, basically a furniture doll, and you would scoot around. And you
I
had a little
totally
stick
forgot
and
about those things, man.
whack it in, which I think the kids had an advantage on that one because they were smaller. But then there was dodgeball and a couple other ones. Whatever.
Oh, dodgeball's an interesting one. Sorry, we'll get back to your story in a second.
Yeah.
But the teachers are bigger targets, but they also probably have better developed arms. So like they're better throwers, but also easier to get hit. So that one might be an interesting.
Yeah. So I loved dodgeball.
Yeah.
Specifically, I was like super into dodgeball. I played goalie in soccer.
I was gonna say I didn't know there was a goalie in dodgeball.
No, I was a soccer goalie for most of my young life.
Yeah.
And so I was really confident at catching. More confident than most people. As like, I wasn't that great of a thrower, but I felt like I could just catch stuff better than most people. And so everyone got to sign up, and you had to like put the sport you wanted to do on there, and then they would select, probably at the end of the day, like 70% of the class got into some event.
Sure.
And then it was like a public thing where like all of the 6th and 7th graders and everyone would come into the gym and watch all these different events. It was like a little Olympics day. It was pretty fun.
Cool.
But I wanted to do dodgeball. I was like set on dodgeball. And I got selected for volleyball. And I was not good at volleyball.
You're not supposed to catch it there.
Yeah. So I'm like not good at volleyball, this like middle school kid, and like we got railed by the adults in volleyball. But I was really disappointed because I really wanted to do dodgeball, and then I was just like, man, like I don't even want to do this. They're like, well, you could sit out. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna play. And I like remember I was the first one on the kids team to like have to serve, and I couldn't get it over the net. I just wasn't good at it. And so I was like, and it would just like not go over the head, and so eventually I like got subbed out. So that's my main story, is that I got selected for a sport I didn't want to play and embarrassed myself in front of everybody.
Awesome. Yep.
So wait, so you said there's 70-something% of the kids got chosen.
Something like
So
that.
there
It was
were
a lot.
there were kids that didn't play at all, basically.
Yeah, I think probably it was mostly kids who didn't sign up. Like it was like if you signed up, you probably got plugged into something, but you didn't have to sign up. So there was some kids that are like, I'm not going to go play sports in front of everybody in the school. So I think that's more likely why some of them didn't.
Sure. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know, it's middle school, so they're like, if you signed up, you're going to play something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I assume. I don't exactly remember. But another one, this one's super short and silly, and it was another moment that I embarrassed myself. But also in 8th grade, or maybe 7th, I think had to be 7th grade, there was like a fun run type of deal that we did, where it was like you go and it's like a 2-mile or 3-mile run or something, and you do it, and then at the end there was like a raffle, and you got pulled your name, and you didn't have to do well in the thing. I've never been a runner, for anybody who isn't watching a video of this. I'm not much of a runner, but I got like selected for a raffle and like won a prize, and I went up, and the teacher, who was like the gym teacher at the time, who later got arrested for dating middle school student.
Oh, and you got away with it.
There's a whole bit. Well, he got arrested.
No,
yeah.
I'm saying
How
you
old
got
was
away with it. I'm just kidding.
You got away with not dating
I'm trying
you?
to say that you were the student that he dated.
Oh, it was not me.
How old was this guy?
I mean, he was like probably in his 30s.
Ooh,
And
man.
like
People in their
taking
30s
her
are
home
creeps.
from school
No, that is
every
pretty
day,
creepy,
and like
Ooh,
it was like
Eesh,
really
yikes.
not good. He's like in jail, I think. But anyway,
We had a computer teacher that was questionable.
little
Yeah, everybody's like,
pedo-y.
everybody's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but this guy likes these young girls, like,
Yeah,
you know,
he's
like,
a little too invested in their daily lives.
Yeah. How
But-
do I reach these children?
Yeah.
Please don't.
Please
Just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went up, and he's like, yeah, do you have anything to say? Like, yeah, do you make a speech? And I was like, 7th grade, not super confident, not good talker at the time. And I was just like, disco. And everyone was like, what? And then I just like went and sat down.
wait, that's all you said?
That's literally all I said. It's like a core memory that was so embarrassing. Like I feel like I'm turning red right now.
Oh my God,
Because
that's
I was
hilarious.
like, I didn't know what to say. I like went up, and he's like, make a speech, and I was just like, disco, and he was like, and I was like, anyway.
Okay, wait. We need to dig into this. Do you remember if there was more to that thought than just this completely
I don't remember.
no context word that came out of your mouth?
Yeah, certainly there must have been something else going on, backstory inside your brain.
There had to be at the time. I don't remember. I just
Was
remember
it like,
sitting
let's party or something?
Yeah, like woo, yeah, party or something. But I just said that, and I just remember sitting down and being like, why did I say that? Like, and everybody was just like, what the hell? Like, what?
Okay, we keep talking about doing like skits. You need to face this trauma by reenacting this in a skit.
Rough run.
And you just get up again, and you're like, I can fix this. I can fix this.
got this.
Roller derby.
Yeah, it was like this weird random brain fart that I will just never forget. It was just like
Oh my God.
out in front of the whole class, like after the run, everyone's all sweaty and like was standing outside. It's like right before summer break, like last memory of me for the year.
no.
And I just said this thing and then just sat down and was just like,
Oh my God.
oh.
I don't know why, but this is one of the funniest things that I've heard.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing.
Oh,
It's like
no.
a weird core trauma that I
feel
have.
so bad for you.
For 7th grade me.
Like, I feel a little bit bad for laughing, but you gotta admit.
Oh, it's
like,
funny. That's why
also,
I'm saying it.
Middle school, at least for me, was one of the hardest times because
Totally. Same.
it was a weird time.
For everyone.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
hormones,
Yeah.
like all this shit going through your head, and then you do that. It's just like,
God damn it.
Did you guys see Sam this summer? Who? Disco Kid? Oh yeah.
I wish I could just like time machine back and watch that unfold, because I'm sure there was more that I had to say, but I just remember saying that one word and it kind of being like everyone's talking, and then I said like into a microphone, and then it just was like quiet, and I was like, God. I'm good. And I just like sat down. Yeah, it was like, I'm sure that teacher was like, what the like all of the adults were just like, what the fuck did he just? I'm sure that evening when they all like went out for drinks or whatever after work, and they're like, freaking Sam Bagnall, that kid, what is going on there?
Right. He loves. What was?
Did he have a stroke?
What was the tape you were talking about earlier?
The tape?
Or the CD you bought?
Oh, Faith Hill.
Faith Hill. He loves Faith Hill. Loves the word disco.
Yeah, just randomly.
Yeah, that kid ain't right. That boy ain't right, I tell you.
Yeah. So those are my.
Your shop teacher, that boy ain't right.
He's gonna grow up to be one of them improvers, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm sure at the time they were like, he will never speak publicly. He can't. And now I've officiated a bunch of weddings. I do improv, as a hobby and whatever.
Well, I think it's a subconscious thing. You're seeking revenge. You're seeking like retribution.
On myself.
I can do this.
That's right. Yeah.
I will fix this. Someday, 7th grade me will forgive me.
This is like a backdoor plug, but do you feel minorly triggered by the fact that our new improv team just picked a team name, which is Executive Funk, and a lot of our iconography is very disco themed?
Disco-esque, disco balls and stuff.
Oh man, it's so haunting you to this day.
I didn't think of that until just now, and now I've got to leave the team.
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't bother me. It's long enough ago, and, nobody knew that story except for, maybe my family until...
Yeah.
Whenever this
now the entire world knows.
And the world will know. Yeah, that's from a musical.
And the world will know.
It's from Newsies, maybe? I don't know.
All right, well, that's my story.
Sam and Disco Bagnall.
Oh, yeah.
My new way of introducing myself. I do now have a cute nickname.
That's true, yeah. Perfect.
Oh, it's good.
That's a great story. I love how you teed it up. Like, there's one good story and one just a little story.
Yeah, and the little story is the one we talked about. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, that's so funny to me. Yeah. Do you want to go next? You want me to go next?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll chat at you.
All right.
Yes. So I remember basically I think I remember I know we did field day probably every year in our elementary school.
Yeah.
But I just remember maybe they all kind of blended together because we all kind of did all the same stuff. But so I'll kind of just talk generally about field day.
Yeah.
I just remember on one hand it was cool because for anybody who doesn't know what field day is, it's the whole school gets together and it's on a nice day outside. We had a track and playground and soccer fields, and so they organized all these activities. And I think it was tiered by grade.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, it was stuff and maybe older too. I don't really remember, but what we were talking about earlier was the sack races. So you'd get in the sacks and you're hopping in these potato sacks.
Yeah.
The most dangerous sport for little kids to be playing. Just here, we're gonna take one of your legs away and put you in a bag that you can trip over.
Yeah.
Right.
We lost 5 good men that
day.
Yeah.
So big trip hazard. Might lose a tooth or two, but it doesn't matter because they're going to fall out anyway.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's the training teeth.
The risk there is low.
Yeah.
And then there was the 3-legged race where you tied your leg together with somebody else, and it was you're trying to figure out a cadence, and they're calling you an idiot because you can't get it right.
I was always good at the 3-legged race because I was big. I was bigger than a lot of kids. And so I would just drag the other. I'd partner up with one of my small friends and just pick them up and just all right.
That's awesome.
I feel like they probably should have disqualified that, but that's okay.
I'm sure I never won any of them. They're you can't do that.
Yeah. That'd be in an egg and spoon race, the people who would apparently put peanut butter on the spoon. Did you ever hear about this?
No, dude.
Chewing gum.
People are cheating on that.
Yeah.
It's high stakes, man. Win at all costs.
So speaking of that, then we had the egg and spoon thing, which I totally forgot about until just now today. And the egg, you had to carry this egg on a spoon and not spill it or break it or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was high stakes because everybody got ribbons. And I remember
gotta have a ribbon.
Yeah.
There was a ribbon. Everybody got a ribbon for each event. And there was the gold and the silver and the bronze, and I don't know, man. There was probably a participation trophy thing.
Blue and red and purple and pink.
All I know is I wasn't great at sports when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I realized that I was athletic, but when I was a kid, I just didn't really care or like know that I like had the abilities kind of thing, and I was never really confident.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, on one hand it was, oh, this is cool because we don't have to go to school.
Yeah.
We don't have to do schoolwork. Like, we're just playing outside. But on the other hand, it was like, you know, it was like, yeah, I was kind of, a lot of times I was a kid where like nobody would choose me.
I
The last one be
would have picked
chosen.
you.
And they're like,
So-
why don't you just keep up with your computer business in your
Yeah,
basement?
exactly. So I was more of an intellectual
calling back to
child.
that.
But anyway,
Shows.
so in that regard, I was always kind of like, oh crap, like, you know, I had
Yeah.
this like thing of, man, this sucks because I have to like compete and try to be like
Play sports and be active.
Right.
And it's like you can't just sit out. You
No.
can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna sit out in the grass. They're like, no, you're participating. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing today. You're like,
Yeah.
well, can't I just field day is just chilling for me? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Well, and then I was always a good runner, and I was always like fast, and still am. Like that's like I still run like almost every day. But so I think those were the events that I actually was like winning,
yeah.
like the big ribbons, you know.
Yeah.
So at least I was able to win something.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, the field day, like we said, it wasn't some of the stuff wasn't, it's not like track and field like for the Olympics where we're doing like discus and
Right.
100 meter jump.
100-meter jump. Broken leg.
So in that regard, it wasn't, you know, the anticipation of wasn't as bad as some of the other sporting things where it was like,
Let's give this 13-year-old a javelin. Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, it was fun though. And I just remember coming home I had a stack of ribbons. Like,
Nice.
I was like, look at all these ribbons. And they, you know, it doesn't mean anything.
Was that how you talked as a
makes
kid?
it-
Look at these ribbons.
Just Cartman.
That's right.
Mom, I got some ribbons. These are my ribbons. That's so sweet.
So when you said you weren't really into sports when you were younger. When you got to like high school years, things like that, did you play sports or did you ever do any competitive sports?
No, I didn't play competitively. What happened was I was always like we were talking about before, I was kind of like computer kid,
Yeah.
like book kid. I was like always reading and
Yeah.
like smart, like book smart kind of. And then but I was like kind of like out of shape and like, I don't know, I would eat like tons of bad stuff all the time. And then at some point in like junior year, I think, I started like this kind of like cool kid moved into town and I started hanging out with him. And I was like, oh, this kid's cool. And he's getting like chicks and, you know, whatever. Like at that time, you're like, you know, your hormones are like going through your head. So
Blasting off.
yeah. So I was like, I started running and lifting weights. And turns out that with, you know, not that much effort because I was so young, my body was able to like adapt really. I was able to I dropped like 20 or 30 pounds and started getting some muscle and stuff. And
beautiful and handsome ever since.
and then
Never look back.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden I was like, oh wow, like it's crazy how you know, like you do this and that, and then I started dressing kind of preppy and stuff, and all of a sudden all these girls started looking at me, and I was like, wow, this is cool. You know, so like
Whoa.
so
Was that the thing that we missed, Sam? We
Yeah. Well, I guess I need to start dressing preppy because if that's all that it takes.
this was
I have
high school in
Godzilla
the
on my
late.
shirt
This,
right
was,
now.
this was high school in the late '90s, like Abercrombie and Fitch,
Oh, yeah.
and like
Hollister.
yeah, which
Yeah.
you know, those Abercrombie and Fitch. I knew some people that worked there that are kind of douchey, and you know,
Well, I think that's what they select for,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
so you know, there's always that the possibility of you just become a giant douche.
Yeah. I'll take that risk. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm mature enough mentally where I think I can do all of those changes and not become a giant douche. Everyone all of a sudden, all my friends will be like, "Are Are you wearing a polo?
Are you, no. Are you wearing two polos?
Two polos. Both collars
With the
popped.
collars up, yeah.
Yeah, both collars popped.
Yeah.
You got like spiked hair with frosted tips.
What if I show up next week wearing a fedora? Punch me in the face.
I think that's going the wrong direction.
No, man.
All right.
So to answer your question, I kind of took it upon myself to start like being more athletic and working out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I almost joined track in senior year, but I think I missed the cutoff or something. Because at that point I was running and I was like, man, like I'm really fast and I'm I like this. I actually really love like being active and working out and stuff. And then when I got older, like in college and stuff, I was running like 10Ks and
cool.
5Ks and
Nice.
doing that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
So that was, and yeah, I always played golf. My grandpa used to get me golf lessons when I was a kid.
A famously active sport, yeah.
Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, so that doesn't really count.
It's a nice walk spoiled, isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I play golf, and all we do is just like drink beers and
There you go.
Drive around on the golf cart.
smoke cigars. It's like real healthy. It's a real healthy sport.
It's a good lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been into golf, but I think now I could. It sounds kind of fun.
We should go golfing sometime. Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, my brother is actually. You guys both know my brother.
Yeah.
He's now coaching golf at his high school. So.
He can teach me.
Yep.
My dad got me, I'm left-handed, so my dad got me like special left-handed clubs, but I'm pretty sure that I never used them because I was actually more comfortable with right-handed clubs.
Oh, interesting.
Like most sports I played right-handed.
There are some people, where they're like their writing hand and their sports hand for like baseball or that kind of stuff. Like their handedness switches for that.
Yeah, like hockey stick, lacrosse stick, guitar, all of that stuff. I play right-handed, but I'm left-handed.
Interesting.
Writing-wise,
I ride snowboard goofy.
I do too.
Yep.
I would probably
that makes sense. But I think it was just I don't think there was any reason for it. I think I just happened to kind of, that was like the way it was, and then I wrote it and I was like, okay, I'm used to this now.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you ride goofy, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I literally don't have an answer for that.
Right.
I'm just broken.
Right. No, on the subject of arbitrary things, for the people watching the video, you'll see my watch is on my right hand, which is generally the sign of a left-handed person.
You're right.
I'm right-handed.
You're left.
Yeah. From the moment I started wearing a watch, it just felt more comfortable in my right hand. So I've had a lot of people over the years be like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were left-handed," and I'm just like, "No, I just happened to wear my watch on my dominant wrist." Yeah.
Well, I think we've taken up enough.
Well, you wear your
tangent
bracelet
time.
on the
Yeah, I got my jewelry on my right hand. If I wore a watch, it would be on my right hand.
Because you're left-handed.
Because I'm left-handed. Yeah. But I've never been a watch guy.
Well, who watches the Sam?
We'll cut that out.
So you have a proclivity just to like automatically raise your right hand.
Yeah, I do that. Like whenever I'm joking, like, all right, it's been about 20 minutes. Like I just look at my.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway.
Cool. My turn?
Ryan's turn. Field day.
All right. Well, first I'm going to talk about the term field day because that was not something I was really familiar with until we started talking about
We're having a field day with this term.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was going to ask. Like, is that what that evokes for you? That term, like, and they had a field day. Does it evoke like high school or middle school, like going out with all the people standing on a field?
It does.
Okay.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I
automatically think about is just going out and and there's competitions everywhere.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I just know that term field day from that phrase. They had a field day so for me, it's just like, oh, they had a great time. So like I didn't have a specific image to put along with it.
I associate it with like fun extracurricular outdoor day.
Yeah.
Like they went and did something special,
Right,
basically.
right, yeah.
Like I don't know.
That makes
Although,
sense.
thinking about it, like we're lucky to grow up here where it's sunny all the time and dry.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming there are some parts of the country where it's almost like once school, fall and
Seattle
winter, like roll around, it's just like rainy and crappy.
Right.
Like
Seattle's like
That's probably
field
true.
day. Let's sit inside and play Monopoly.
That's right. Well, so the things we did have what we called sports days,
Okay.
which I think is essentially the same
Probably.
thing. At another school of mine in Japan, we had, I don't think, they might have had a sports day as well, but they also had cross country day. It was specifically like you go to this park that has this big loop and, do races.
I think we had that too.
Okay.
I'm remembering because yes. And
Yeah.
there was like some of the were like long, like miles and miles, right, of running, or like a mile of running or something.
Yeah, I think for cross country day it was like maybe a mile, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, there were people who did cross country as well, like as an extracurricular, and they would do much more running. But for those of us like myself who, on the theme of just not being athletic in school, not a good runner. I think when I was young I was a decent runner, but then I just kind of topped out somewhere, and the other kids didn't. But yeah, I think the thing I'm interested to talk about a little bit, unless it turns out it's not interesting, is at the schools that I grew up with, we always had like houses for the students at the school. Did you guys have that at your school?
How's it like Gryffindor?
Right. Yes, but not that. Yeah.
Right. But
So like a military school or something, like where they send you off and you live there.
Oh no. So you don't live there. Yeah, no. It's just like it's a division specifically. Well, not only specifically.
So it is kind of like Gryffindor. It's like it's like a segmentation of like students.
Yeah. Although Gryffindor, they do live with the other Gryffindors.
Right.
If we want to spend some time on Harry Potter, no.
But it's you have a team that you're part of, and it's all of these people.
In middle school, we had like Team B and Team A, and so that was kind of like that.
Okay.
There were a certain group of students that were in different like teams like for the school.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so like whenever there was a sports day or another thing like that was competitive, you would be with those kids in your house.
I wonder. I actually don't remember that, but that's probably how we did it too, to be honest.
Yeah. But I remember it was kind of funny because so my family moved around a lot. I know that's a thing that's come up a few times. But from the time I remember having houses at our schools, just coincidentally, I think they did it by surname a lot of the time. So like my brother, my sister, and I would all have the same house. And we were always the yellow house, like regardless what the name of it was. Well, yeah, I guess. I did do the Harry Potter online thing and I got Hufflepuff, so that kind of fits the theme. But yeah, like at my school in New Zealand, I think it was just called yellow. There was like, yellow, green, blue, red house, that kind of thing. My elementary school, when we first moved to England, it was like named after explorers. So it was like Raleigh was ours, Sir Walter Raleigh. And then there was like Drake, Nelson. I think maybe there were only 3 houses there. But that one, you did it for sports, but also like academics. I was the house captain my last year there. Year 6, I guess.
Head boy.
I was not head boy. I was not the head boy. No, the head boy was Toby Callahan.
Okay.
That son of a bitch,
Toby.
Yeah.
People are gonna get him.
But no, I had to like people, this is a bit of a tangent, but my role was mostly that when people did well academically, they would be assigned stars by teachers. So like you would turn in an assignment, you get like a star or 3 stars, that kind of stuff, and then the stars would be tallied up for your house, and then like at the end of the term, a house would win based on like academic prowess or whatever. So basically once a week, I had to sit in a classroom and tally up people's stars. They come in and turn in their stars to me, and I kept like a ledger of stars, and then I had to report on them in assembly.
So you were kind accountant.
Right. You're the treasurer, basically.
Right, exactly. Anyway, that was a whole aside. But yeah, then my secondary school in England, I believe the house was called Mildmay. I think it was an artist or something like that. I don't know enough about artists, but it was a yellow house. Until we got to Japan, they were all named after mythical creatures, and so it was like chimeras, zephyrs, griffins, and I think a 4th one that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But we were the green house there, I think. So like it just totally broke all this pattern. So total identity crisis.
Oh no.
But yeah, maybe that's too much about houses, but
no, it's really interesting. I don't think we didn't have anything quite like that in any of my school experiences.
Yeah.
But we had like cores, so it would be like clusters of teachers, and you would have that, and it's like you had the same 3 teachers, and there was maybe several cores per grade or whatever. But I never had like.
Would that be like a homeroom, or is that
basically like a homeroom?
Yeah. So we had that too, but that was separate. So yeah,
I never had a homeroom. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
We had this thing called. I'm digging real deep. It was called. I don't remember what it's called, but it was basically kind of like almost like a study period thing. But you would rotate throughout like to different classrooms.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like half an hour, 45 minutes, I think, during the morning, where you could like catch up on homework or talk with your peers.
So who would do roll? Would it just be whoever your first teacher of the day was, or?
Probably.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because we would have like homerooms generally at most of my schools. I think actually when we moved to the States, Palmer High School in Colorado Springs, I think it was just whoever was your first teacher would do the role like that. So
I think that's what it was.
okay.
Yeah, because I remember like I was watching movies and stuff, and they were like homeroom, and I was like, what is that? Like, I don't do that.
My homeroom changes every day. I had like a homeroom in high school that was it was like one teacher and one group of people that was all the way through high school, and it was kind of like that study hall thing, but it was like once a week or something you would go to whatever that class was, and it was like 45 minutes or an hour of like everyone was in their respective homeroom type situation.
Okay.
And it was the same people all the way through high school. So there was like, I'd have other classes with other kids and stuff each year, each semester, but I always had this like core group of people that I was in the same class with. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay, yeah, so now we're just talking about division of classes, but at my elementary school, it was kind of like that, except it was like all the time. Like you would have your class, and that was like for the day. Often at that point, like the teachers would be changing who was in the room. Like you would be in your classroom, and like the teachers would cycle out.
Wow!
I don't know if that was the same for your elementary schools or anything like that.
Elementary school was one teacher for every subject.
That's what.
Like the same teachers.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. No, we had different teachers, but yeah, like we would stay in the classroom, and they would come to us.
Which is kind of funny if you think about it, because I imagine there were some subjects that the teachers like were bad at, or like not as good as other ones.
Right,
but they were stuck
exactly.
like, crap, I got to teach math.
Hopefully they're better than a 7-year-old at least.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so then like homeroom in like middle school, high school, like at my school in Japan, it was just, the first 10 minutes of the day, you just go to a classroom with a teacher who is in charge of those students and making sure they're present at school. Okay. And then from there you go to your first class.
Interesting.
So, yeah, just more of a, I guess, another logistical thing. Anyway, all this talk about homerooms and stuff like that. Sports days, field days, whatever we want to call them. I wasn't athletic. I didn't do well. That's all I need to say, probably.
Fair enough. I don't remember them much. I just kind of was like doing other shit.
Right. No, I think I got like a third place one time when I was like 8, and then that was like the cap of my athletic
the peak of your fitness career.
Yeah,
your fitness career.
Still have the medal on the wall.
I think it was a little plastic plaque, and I probably do have it somewhere at my mom's house. Yeah.
Did you play any competitive sports or anything like soccer?
I did. And
footy.
That's right. Yeah. So footy, for those who don't know, my brother is obsessed with Australian football, which goes by the name footy. Or are you talking about soccer footy?
I said footy for your sake, for the Australian football.
Because sometimes some Brits and people will call soccer footy because it's football over there.
I was referencing your brother's
That's what
obsession.
I thought. Cool. Just making sure I was going off in the right direction. So my brother, keep talking about him. We should bring him on here sometime.
Yeah.
But he
guest of the pod.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was very into sports. He was not the most athletic person, but he was very enthusiastic. But he's also just like a big sports fan. Like any sports stat that is in a sport that he has paid attention to in the last 15 years, he can probably like just pull it off the top of his head. Whenever we do trivia nights, he's always the one who's just like, okay, there's a sports question. Daniel.
He's an idiot savant.
You can stop after the first part.
Just call him a savant.
Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Daniel.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, Dan. Yeah.
He knows what he is.
I actually don't really know what that specifically means. I just know it means that you can find quote sports.
I think the idiot portion is like saying that you're bad at most other things, but you're good at that one.
Well, he's not. I mean, he's a teacher, so he's not bad at shit.
That's true. Well, teachers can be bad at things. They're full of humans.
I'm trying to save it. He's just throwing you under the bus still.
Yeah, the school bus. But
short bus.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, like my brother would do a lot of sports, and I would kind of follow on. So he did basketball. I did basketball for a little bit. We both were on the same baseball team for a little bit in high school in Japan. I was very bad. There's a famous, I don't think I've talked about this on this podcast yet, but there's a famous incident that I would not let my brother talk about for years after, and I still get a little annoyed if he brings it up. But I'm going to say it now.
Yeah.
We were playing, our team was terrible, by the way. We were mostly playing against American military schools because baseball is huge in Japan. Mm-hmm. But my school being an international school, we just didn't really mingle with the actual Japanese schools that much. And I'm sure it would have been even more of a blowout if we tried to play them. They're very competitive players in baseball specifically. Mm-hmm. So we played these American schools. These kids were mostly American, grew up in America, moved to Japan for a while with their families. We were mostly kind of American or Europeans who thought baseball sounded fun, that kind of thing. Or Japanese kids who, were going to an English-speaking school because their parents wanted them to speak English, that kind of thing. And so we often had to lose to the mercy rule. But one time in particular, I'm pretty sure we were already pretty far down, so it didn't matter that much. But there were 3 runners on the bases, so bases were loaded. I came up to the plate. I looked at the coach. He gave a signal, and I bunted because I thought that's what he signaled. 2 outs. 2 outs, bases loaded. I bunted. Got out, of course. And he just called me over and he just like, now, Ryan, do you think there's ever a case when it would be 2 outs, bases loaded, and I would tell you to bunt? And I said, well, I was a little confused, but that's what I thought the call was. And he's like, okay.
Ryan Bunting.
Yeah, Ryan Sam Disco, Ryan Bunting.
Ryan Bunting, Kerwin.
And Graham Computer Store. No?
Computer Store.
So, yeah, that was, I think, the peak of me being really bad at sports. So when we moved to America, my brother and sister were both in college. It was just me, and I just didn't even pretend to do sports.
No, that ain't for me.
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
Yep.
Sports.
So, yep, not a good sports person. So, sports days were fun, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a real sports day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A real sports day. It's called field day, Ryan.
Sorry. Yeah.
I had a field day. That's the phrase.
I had a field day at field day.
Yeah, I had a
field day at sports day.
Yeah.
There you go. Best of both worlds.
That's right. Exactly. So, yep.
Cool.
Team
Well,
houses.
is there any
Gryffindor,
other
Hufflepuff.
field day notes that you guys wanted to make before we shut her down?
I don't think so, man.
Cool.
Well, maybe if we get a copy of Crossfire, we should also go and reenact a field day sometime.
Oh yeah.
We should add Crossfire into a field day activity.
Oh yeah, you egg and spoon over to the Crossfire.
Oh, dude, when is Crossfire going to be in the Olympics? Come on, man.
Right.
Yes.
Well, there's an opening where breakdancing was this year.
Are they not going to do it again?
I heard it was canceled. It was just not good. Apparently. Did you guys hear about the
Have you
Australian?
I mean,
Have
I
you
watched the Australian one.
Did you see the footage?
I haven't brought myself to watch it
I
as she was
watched
one
it,
of my
and it was-
countrymen, but
It's bad.
It was a
They're
treat
like,
to
oh,
watch.
we're canceling this forever.
it's also just funny that she has like a breakdancing nickname, Raygun.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
It's like her name is like
Yeah.
Rachel Gunn or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Crossfire in the Olympics.
All right, let's do it.
2028.
2028, baby.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's going to finish it up for this episode of Wax Nostalgic. Thanks for listening. Thanks for
Yeah.
playing along with
Thanks
us.
for watching. If you watched.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
watched. Yeah, sorry, audio, video medium. Yeah, we had a lot of fun today. Got some good laughs and looking forward to making more for you. So that's going to do it for us.
You should sign off using your new nickname.
Going to.
Okay. Oh no, I spoiled
I was
it.
gonna, yeah. I was gonna.
Cut that, cut that.
Everyone's like, bye, bye, and I was just disco.
Okay, we can still do that.
All right,
Until
so-
next time, I'm Graham Computer Store.
I'm Ryan Bunting.
Disco.
Cool. We're keeping all that in right now.
Bye.
Wax Nostalgic Podcast was produced and recorded at Black Dove Studios in Denver, Colorado. Audio post-production and engineering by Sam Bagnall. Video production and post-production by Graham Johnstone. IT and social media management by Ryan Kerwin. Check out this and other creative projects by adding to the noise at attnlab.com. That's attnlab.com.